Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 8th episode of Host a Pro, where disruptive influencers talk about e-commerce marketing. Today we have Destaney Wishon with us. Hey, Destaney.
Hello. Excited to be here.
Excited to have you with us today, and great to meet you. Today we're going to speak about Amazon, PPC, and DSP for e-commerce brands, right?
We are. It's a fun topic right now.
Amazing. So just before we jump into the topic, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? How did you get to be so much focused on Amazon?
Yeah, of course. So my name is Destaney Wishon, and I'm co-founder and CEO of BetterAMS. BetterAMS is an Amazon advertising agency focused strictly on scaling Amazon ads. So it's the only thing that we do, which is, we can go really deep on it when we're not spread thin across everything else in the industry. And I have been managing Amazon ad campaigns for 5 years now, which doesn't sound like a lot, in the big picture. But when you look at Amazon in general, I can't believe where the time's gone. Like, this is all I've done for 5 years now. So.
Wow. So tell us a little bit more, because, at the beginning when Amazon just got started, there wasn't a lot of PPC. And it seems like now everyone is running PPC and in large budgets. So what made it so important to run these days?
Yeah, I think in the beginning, the ad platform in itself wasn't that developed. So there was kind of just a lot of small things that weren't amazing. You primarily had sponsored product ads, which, for those who aren't aware, those are the ads that look just like an organic listing on Amazon. When you search for something, it's the ads that look just like a regular placement. So that was where everyone focused on, and there wasn't a ton of competition. I feel like vendors didn't have a lot of buy-in on Amazon because it was not a lot of margin. Yeah. So you had big brands that were like, oh, I don't want to get on Amazon. Like, I don't see any margin there. So all of these small brands had such a big competitive advantage. They were really able to scale quickly. In recent years, really, COVID was also a major catalyst of this. We've seen bigger and bigger brands move onto the platform because their retail presence got shut down. So they had these budgets that were set aside for Walmart and Target, and they were like, oh my gosh, no one's going into stores. Let's move that to Amazon. So in the last year alone, Amazon's gotten so much more competitive. Advertising costs are going up, but that just makes it more fun on our end, a little bit more of a challenge.
Cool. And so what would be, the most important things to do before you start running PPC on Amazon? And what are the common mistakes you see and brands do?
I think the most important thing is to understand the mindset behind Amazon ads. So when people are used to Facebook and when they're used to Google, they typically go in with a mindset that's kind of different. Those platforms are more disruptive. You're taking someone that's scrolling Facebook and serving an ad in the hopes that they purchase. So you're going to have different ROAS expectations. On Amazon, it's amazing because you're serving an ad exactly where someone's purchasing. It is one of the most powerful placements you can bid on across all the ad types. I would probably say a little bit more powerful than Google, because if someone's looking for, running shoes on Google, they may be looking for articles, blogs, YouTube videos. If someone types in running shoes on Amazon, they're looking at purchasing, which makes that so valuable for any brand. But when you understand that mindset, you can actually set up your campaigns a little bit better, and they're a little bit more valuable. So that's probably one of the most important things, is truly understanding the value of an Amazon ad. And for biggest mistakes they see, typically thinking that they can transfer their knowledge from Google or Facebook directly to Amazon. It's just quite a bit different in terms of advertising, setup, things like that, and the mindset thing that makes it not as easy of a transition as people think.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more about, the types of, PPC and DSP campaigns that you can run on Amazon today, and what would be the most effective ones as well?
Yeah, of course. So most simple is keyword targeting, which is truly targeting the keywords that customers are typing in and making sure your ad shows up there. They also have product targeting, which means you can target all of your competitors' products with an ad that's going to show up on the product detail page. With those two, you then have sponsored products, which look just like an organic listing. And then you have sponsored brands, which allow you to write copy, have a creative, multiple products. They're typically the ad that shows up at the top of the page that every consumer sees before they look at anything else. And then you have display and DSP. They're ads that are pretty much like what most people are used to. You can target by audiences. You can target only females between the ages of 19 and 23 who are interested in dogs. So those are what we consider more top of the funnel, broader, more disruptive. But those are kind of the three you see the most. Now, the importance and the strategies you can use really depend on your brand. So that flexibility and that knowledge matters the most, I think.
Yeah. And when there are so many types of campaigns out there, what would be the most effective strategies for brands to actually run on Amazon?
I would say probably the most effective is starting with sponsored product ads. Because sponsored product ads do 50 to 70% more placements than any of the other ads. This is really easy to understand. When you type in a keyword in Amazon, you're going to see more sponsored product ads than anything else.
Yeah.
Which means you can be less competitive, you can win more placements, and you get more exposure. And again, it looks like an organic ad, so customers click on them more. So if I'm starting, I 100% want to look at starting with sponsored products just because they're the most. It's 80-20. With that, I think something that goes understated at Amazon is organic ranking in the Amazon flywheel. So the beautiful thing about bidding on any keywords is the more conversions you drive for that keyword, the better your organic rank is going to be. So not only does your Amazon app just increase your sales, but it also increases your opportunity to get more organic sales. So we always recommend, doing your keyword research and then bidding on those keywords.
Yeah. Amazing. And what about reviews? Tell us a little bit about reviews.
Reviews play a really big role in anything you're going to be doing with ads because they affect your conversion rate. If you have 3 reviews and your competitor has 300 reviews, you're not going to have as much brand trust as your competitor. So your conversion rate may not be as high. And knowing this, when you're driving more traffic to a listing that's not converting well, that just means you're wasting more money. So we always recommend, starting with a strong foundation, getting reviews, and driving more traffic. But on the flip side, the beautiful thing about Amazon ads is they can drive more reviews because you're driving more traffic. So if you're not showing up on page 1 for your top keywords, customers aren't going to see you. They're not going to go to page 2 and 3. That's like lost. So you need to run ads to get your listing onto page 1.
And is it right to say that your company page on Amazon is equals to your website? I mean, CRO needs to be conducted there as well, right?
100%. I think when people look at Amazon, they typically see their poor margin, and that's the one thing that stands out. It's like, my website has amazing margin. Amazon has terrible margin. I think the part that people miss out is Amazon has 90 times more traffic than your website's going to get. So it's just economies of scale. You maybe, have less margin, but you're selling more units. So your profit may end up being more, especially if you can get to page 1. So your brand presence on Amazon definitely makes a big difference. You need to have that kind of synchronicity across both sites.
Yeah, it's a really fundamental difference between the two, right?
100%. And I don't think it's a competition between the two. Amazon's valuable because customers trust it and there's so much traffic. Your website's valuable because every customer who really loves your brand may still end up on your website, especially if you do a great job of winning that person over and really driving loyalty. So you can do both of them. It's not one or the other.
Yeah. And am I right that there is a trend, in the last, I guess, 2 years or so of brands that used to be, solely on Amazon and now looking to, build their own brand, build their own acquisition flow, and really raise their, obviously, how the worth of their brand and company. Why is it happening?
One, it's scary when your whole business is in the hands of Amazon. we've all seen it. Amazon comes in and decides to launch the same product as you in your own category. Or Amazon decides to decrease shipping limits. And now everyone on Amazon is stuck with a bunch of inventory because they can't ship in any units. Having little control over your brand is a scary thing. So I think that's the main reason why most people are kind of diversifying. And Amazon doesn't give you a lot of customer data, which can be kind of scary. You can't actually see like who your consumer is typically. So I think that's the biggest reason people are diversifying due to risk. But it's also just incredibly beneficial for your customer who is on Walmart and Amazon to see your products on both. And to go into a retail store, like in the long term, it's the best play. That's why, Coke's name is anywhere and everywhere. They didn't choose one platform. They want their customers to see them and really know that they're accessible through any marketplace.
I imagine a lot of, e-commerce brand owners nodding when they think about what happened right now with iOS 14 and Facebook. It's like, yeah, you're dependent there as much as you're independent here, right?
100%. So being able to own that data is so important, and that's probably going to be uphill battle for the next 20 years of everything we do.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think you're going to see, a huge shift towards the more kind of a traditional owned, again, controlling my own data through email, being there with my brand through PR and, around that, and still having those channels, as, the constant flow I have. But not, yeah.
I feel like we're super blessed, and people tend to forget how much data we do have. You think about like 30 years ago, a big vendor or brand, they were running billboard ads, targeting every single person driving through the store, or they were, putting a poster in an entryway of a restaurant. Now we have the ability to target by like age, search history. It's honestly kind of creepy. But we've been spoiled by this much data, and now that it's starting to be taken away from us, we may have to go back to more traditional marketing, which is more like lift test and brand awareness plays. And I don't know. I go back and forth because I love the data. I love being able to target by keywords, but then part of me is like, it is a little creepy. Let's see how it plays out.
So today, if a brand, is ready to really scale on Amazon, what would be, the best tip you can give them to start doing that?
The best tip I can give them, man, I would say Amazon advertising is rolling out more opportunities to tell your brand story than ever before. You and I have talked about this like this whole time, and your brand is what matters. It's no longer about a product. And Amazon's giving us assets to do that. We have video and search ads, so we can actually run a video ad based off of keywords. We can upload lifestyle images to our ads. And we're allowing us to really drive that competitive advantage with our brand story, and I would have on that.
Okay, great, amazing. Destaney, thank you so much. It was an amazing talk, and I think, people today are so much, rethinking their channels, and it was super important to dive deep into, Amazon and, the opportunities there. So again, thank you so much. It was a real pleasure.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
With pleasure, and toda raba.
Bye.